Howdy do. So in the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of things, haven't we? We saw a man contemplate a banana for 5 minutes. We saw a couple of icons die, unfortunately. We saw Sky lose to Donkey and smack. So we've seen a lot of things in the past 2 seasons of League of Legends. And I say seasons as season 5 and 6. I am counting 6 so far because we're midway through it. So just to put that out there. Also, I'm irrelevant. I'm AD carry main talking about this video as a matter of fact. But I'm a bad one. And I'm kind of irrelevant. So you don't have to listen to this one. But I saw the somewhat responsive feedback for when I did the State of Jinx in Season 6, and that was somewhat positive, and I thank you guys for that. And so it makes me feel like, okay, let me try a more broader topic and see if people want to hear about that too. So let's get to it. And really, it's about the fact that ever since about midway through Season 5, we've seen tank carries come in. And by tank carries, I'm not talking about like when Hulk threw that tank in that one movie that everybody tries to forget. I'm talking about more like Bane picking up your AD carry and breaking their back, and then tossing them down a building. Even though they're the AD carry with the damage, and the tank was the tank. And all the peel in the world, getting peeled for harder than an orange, wouldn't have saved you for that. And then your gang gets decimated because you have no damage, and you might as well walk the plank because your team got murdered. And that's my point. A lot of people are seeing these tanks come in, and they're seeing, especially with the itemization lately, the tanks coming back. This whole Sunfire Iceborne Gauntlet, trickery, that's not good. That's not a cape I want to see ever. To be honest, that's not anything I'm probably allergic to the product that's used to make it, or the cloth, whatever. But apparently a lot of people are. Like, a lot of people are somewhat upset that these tanks can do all this damage. And in the NALCS, I won't spoil who won or anything like that, but there was a game where one team picked Poppy, and their tank Poppy out-damaged all the carries on both their own team and on the enemy team. Out-damaged all of them. A tank. And just let that sit in for a second. A tank. Now, some people are completely okay with this. Some people are just like, oh, that is amazing. And it's like, no, it's not. Because for me, and I'm kind of salty, I guess. I'm a whiner. You could say that's what us AD carries do, right? But for me, it's more about, if you're a tank, I'm not saying you shouldn't do any damage, right? If you're a tank, you got to be able to last hit. You got to be able to do stuff like that. But if you can out-damage somebody over some itemization, and you can out-damage a full late-game carry like Jinx or somebody, but then you're also not squishy like a Jinx would be, even though her as a glass cannon can be annoying because of all the crit rockets and stuff, she's still squishy if you can get to it, right? And AD carries don't scale magic resist. They don't at all. It's part of one of their built-in weaknesses. Mobile or not, they don't scale magic resist. They have to build magic resist, they have to take runes, they have to do something like that. So that way, if you have a mid laner who's a high AP damage dealer and they can get to that AD carry that's being problematic, they can blow them up, right? And that's part of the problem with AD carries in Season 6. This is coming from someone that still played Jinx consistently. Through the preseason, it was kind of frustrating, I'll admit, because she had a bunch of bugs in the preseason. But into Season 6, I'm still trying to play Jinx, and it's just getting a little bit more frustrating, I guess, not just for me anymore. I guess that's the point. It's not just me anymore. A lot of people are getting frustrated because there's a QSS change coming in. That's going to make Zed's ult non-cleansable, pretty much. And they're doing it so that they can try and balance around these abilities that you need QSS for. Same with Trundle, for that matter. And like in the future, that seems pretty fine, right? Like if we live in a world in the future where those things are balanced to the point where it's not, if you don't build its second or third item, you're gonna just die immediately. You can maybe delay it a little bit if you need a different item sooner. Like maybe you need the Last Whisper sooner because they have more tanks to deal with than Zed. Whatever, right? That's okay. The problem is the patches it's gonna take to get there are going to be extremely painful. And unfortunately, the reason I brought up Jinx is because she's considered the weakest, if not the weakest AD carry in the meta. And that's why I made the video on her before. And so for me playing her, it's been an experience of finding new items or different ways maybe to play her to succeed. In the other video I mentioned that because the mid-game power spike was kind of a thing, I'd sometimes do like what an old Ezreal ADC build would do, or old Kog'Maw build, and go Trinity Force into Infinity Edge, and then do stuff like that. But that's the problem with this QSS change. The QSS change, I feel like it's like the last straw for like, not just AD carries, but for a lot of people, because a lot of people started building QSS against Trundle in the top lane, for example, or all kinds of stuff. But for Jinx specifically, or just AD carries, a lot of the defensive items that AD carries were starting to find combos to do and use are getting hit time and time again. And it's just making it that much harder for AD carries to survive, because right now it's in a meta where just nuke the AD carry, potentially win the game. And what I mean is, we found the Sterix Mama Mortius combo. Those got nerfed. We found QSS, it's getting nerfed. For me, it was Rapid Fire Cannon on Jinx because I want to siege from an even longer range safely because her weakness is close range. Rapid Fire Cannon got nerfed into the worst Zeal item out of all the Zeal items. I think I still build it, but it's the worst stat-wise Zeal item because they wanted to make Phantom Dancer good, which is funny because last year Phantom Dancer was too good and it was built everywhere. So I'm like, I'm over that, to be honest. I still don't build Phantom Dancer. I still want Rapid Fire Cannon because if I'm playing Jinx or somebody, I want the longer sieging range. But yeah, let's make it No longer the longer range and no longer being able to play safer. Okay, fine, whatever, that's fine. I could just play other AD carries, I guess. But that's also part of the problem, but I'm seeing a lot of other YouTubers and content creators now making videos. And one person in particular, I'm going to botch your name, I'm sorry, but I believe your name was Young Gooby. And he made a video specifically about, it was kind of highlighting at one point the difference between marksman and AD carry. Marksman, like Graves and Kindred and like Quinn in some capacity, and other lanes, and voice cracking, they're doing fine, right? So marksmen are doing fine, but AD carries, and what I count as AD carries are bot lane only AD carries. Marksman that can only go bot lane. You can't take Kalista top lane. You can't take Jinx mid lane unless you're like a Kalista main or Jinx main that's found some off meta stuff to do. But generally, you don't do that. You're not going to do that. Pros are definitely not going to do that. Those are AD carries in my opinion. And I brought his video up because then he went to explain on about how you don't see Jinx anymore. You don't see a lot of the auto attacking AD carries anymore. You don't really see Twitch. You don't really see a lot of the bot lane only carries because a lot of the items that they might have been able to use are getting nerfed in contrast because of how things like Graves are doing in other places. And yeah, I'm not saying like complaining about those is bad or anything like that. Like by all means, I'm making this video generally to open up the discussion, which is what I did in my other video too. I just want to open a discussion and hear you guys' opinions, and I'm not going to criticize any of your opinions. Like there's no, in my opinion, there's no wrong opinion. I just want to make a discussion about this to feel and get an idea of what other people feel the state of AD carry is in this meta, or in this season even, because one of my biggest things about Jinx in the Jinx video I said was, I keep saying Jinx is fine, the meta doesn't favor her. Well, all of preseason and so far all of season 6 hasn't favored her so far, so at some point, maybe I'm just blind and there are problems that need to be addressed. So this video is just an open statement. Hey, if you have an opinion on the state of AD carry, and let's have a discussion about it. Your opinion, if it's different from mine, which I don't really guess have an opinion so to speak, but just because your opinion is different from mine doesn't mean I'm going to criticize you for it, because I'm genuinely just curious about how people feel the state of bot lane specific AD carries are in this season. Whether you play it, whether you work with it, whether you main it, whether it's like your secondary role, but you keep getting it in dynamic queue and the new champ select, whatever. I just want to know your opinion on that, because I feel like maybe I'm right and there's not too much to worry about and other people are overreacting, but maybe at the same time I'm wrong and I should actually be reacting more as an AD carry main, especially as a Jinx main of all things. So yeah, I want to open the door. Let's have a conversation. Your opinions, again, your opinion's your opinion, so I'm not gonna judge you for that. I just want to actually have a general conversation. If you say something that, if you say I was wrong about something, even that's completely fine. I just want to know what the general mindset of what maybe I have the wrong mindset about, even just things like that. So let's open the door, have a discussion about it, and that's all for this video. I don't know when the next video is gonna be because life is full of a lot of kinks. But until next time, take care. GG, get jinxed.